Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of
The English Couple.
We're editing on the road again. Welcome to another show on another hot, blistering day.
Yes.
It is hot. I know. You'll all say, Richard, you've got your cardi on. It's true, but that's only for the shot. It's been a curious week this week, isn't it?
Indeed it has.
We've had a bit of a tragedy, which was, quite worrying, really, I suppose, in the great scheme of things. And we've had, there's a box opening coming up in the show, and more news on the potatoes. Dear, oh dear. But although it has been hot, didn't we have a period when the clouds gathered?
Yes.
And the lightning came, the thunder, the storm, the tempest.
There was moisture in the air for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah. We had about a thimble's full of rain, which I think parts of the country also had the same thimble. I think we passed it around, didn't we?
Yeah, we all had a teeny tiny sip each.
It's amazing we've got enough water here for a cup of tea. Cheers, by the way. Yes, we did have rain, and it came down and it sort of settled for about 2 seconds before the heat of the mud and the grass evaporated it. So
Yep.
it did bugger all,
Yeah.
basically.
Sadly.
However, I have been told by a friend of ours that next week it's going to rain solidly for 5 days. It's a bit weird, isn't it, this whole thing? Because in the old days, you used to get, you were telling me this, remind me about the 3-day rule.
Oh yes, well, back in my day, when we had hot weather, or a mini heat wave, it would last about 3 days, and all that while you'd feel this build-up in the atmosphere, and then the thunderstorm would come
And the
settle,
rain.
and settle everything.
Yeah.
So and then maybe the cycle go around again, but there was always that storm.
Yeah, and this has been going on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And certainly where we are, down on the south, down on the south.
Down south.
Down south, we've not had any thunderstorms. And as we say, we had this tiny little bit of
Precipitation.
Precipitation. We had the tiny bit of that, and not enough, to wash your underwear. It was dreadful.
Not even enough to wet your eyeballs.
No, exactly. So anyway, it was exciting when it happened. We did leap out and go, oh, rain. Well, hang on, where are we going? No, come back.
Come back.
So that was a highlight of the week, which is a bit strange, considering at winter we couldn't get onto the land at all because of days and days and weeks of rain.
Indeed.
But anyway.
Yes, I think that's what helped for the tragedy. And just to set your mind at ease, it's not as big a tragedy as last time when I lost a cat.
No.
To the other, the
other
beyond
realm.
beyond the veil. Beyond the veil.
Yes.
But,
I'm a step beyond that velm. Oh, look, hello, there's Velma.
But yeah. So
Yes.
It's still a sad thing.
But life goes on, and you've been foraging around, and you stumbled across something, you told me, that was in a crack.
Yes. I'd been down there checking on the potatoes and all the new little bits and bobs you've been putting in there, and I spotted a very familiar shape and colour sitting wedged down between a crack. I thought, well, that's been abandoned for sure, because it probably plopped straight down there and she couldn't get to it. But
What is it?
it is a pheasant egg.
A pheasant egg.
Yeah.
Can we
a very
boil it
pleasant
up?
pheasant egg. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't see why not, but
No, I don't fancy it.
don't fancy it
Because
myself.
there may be a half-formed something in it.
There could be.
You never know. But we've found them before, haven't we, where the pheasants out of season have sort of dropped an egg and then wandered off after a few days going, well, there's nothing happening here.
Yeah.
So it isn't unusual. We've got a little collection of them.
I wonder if we set up a roost box for them that was really appealing and felt really safe for them, if they'd go in there and lay them there, then we'd get a source of free eggs.
That's true.
Or we could incubate those eggs.
Yes.
And then sell them. But I
Do
wouldn't want to sell them into the shooting thing, though. That's
No,
the thing.
and
People
do
do what they want, but I don't really want to advocate for that.
And we do hear every now and again shotguns. Not sure if they're shooting pheasants or rats.
Or rabbits.
Or rabbits. Or people.
Yeah.
You know, trespassers. We would, wouldn't we? Anyone comes over here, I'll get my pea shooter out or my spud gun.
Spud gun.
And we'll see them off. Anyway, yes, so there's a few bits and bobs to have a look at. So enjoy, kick back, stay out of the sun, don't put the sun cream on, you know it's not good for you, and enjoy what we have for you. I'm sitting on a bough of a tree. This tree is a venerable old oak tree, and it's one of our 3 venerable oak trees. It's called Edie. We named all our trees. If you watch the show, you will know that. And as you can see, it's not supposed to be down here. It is actually supposed to be up there. And we came to the land one day, and I was working away, and I thought, there's something a bit weird over here. That doesn't look right. And Julia came running up and said, oh gosh, one of the boughs of the trees have fallen. And of course, I was expecting what she meant was something like this, you know, well, maybe a bit bigger than this. I hadn't realised it was this huge. And you can see, look how big it is. Well, it goes on a little bit further and it just touches on the boundary of our land. But it wasn't here on the ground, it was actually still attached. So it had sort of ripped a bit off as it fell. It must have made a hell of a noise, I would imagine. And then it was sort of leaning on that bit with the main body of the tree here. And it's, you know, it's quite a considerable weight. Anyway, we didn't quite know what to do. And I didn't feel that I could tackle it myself in trying to chop it free. So we contacted our friend Ian, who's got a long-handled chainsaw. And he spent nearly an hour slicing through and getting it down to this position. So thank you, Ian. I don't know what we'd do without you, really. So here it is. And as you can see, it's a big bugger. It's still got many of the leaves and stuff on it, of course. And so one of my jobs today, I think, is to try and get off most of these little branches so we can get a clearer idea of what's involved, because it obviously can't just stay here like this. This is an area that we want to clear and grow various things, put some more trees in and things. And I think that was a horse. And so some of it's going to have to go, sadly, to firewood, but it'll make brilliant firewood. But this bit here, I think Julia and I agreed that it would potentially could make a nice bench. And I don't know, there is a method with a chainsaw and some form of sliding table. Ian explained it to us, that you can make planks out of. So we'll have to investigate that. But yes, it's a real shame because it's a very old tree. But I think what's going on is because we've had this very extended drought, they've dried out and they're getting, well, they're under stress. And so in order to deal with it, this is what's happened. And somebody told me it was happening in other places, that branches are falling down like this. It's actually quite dry, so one wonders how safe it is to be working underneath it, but I'm sure it's fine. You know, these things don't just happen, although this clearly happened at some point. Anyway, that's the job of the day, so wish me luck. Right, to the chainsaw. Now, let's take this off for a second. I know a lot of people think that Richard at Biggleswick Farm, he's a bit cavalier, isn't he, when it comes to doing these sort of very dangerous jobs with a chainsaw and what have you. And you obviously don't see everything because we've got to film it, and it's just Julia and I, and you know, we're running around pressing the camera, doing a bit, doing that, and then we put the camera down, and then we have to get on with the job in earnest. And of course, I know that people will think, oh, you're doing this dangerous stuff and you're not dressed the part. Well, actually, when doing some of the stuff which you don't really see, we do put on all the safety gear so that we take safety very, very seriously, because we don't want to injure ourselves and then ruin the chances of finishing what we've taken on here. So I have got my chainsaw trousers, well, these are on loan, and my helmet, which was came with my chainsaw many moons ago, so I can do this. And one of the reasons you need this sort of gear on, because I don't know how much you can see here, but this tree, which has fallen obviously this way, huge amounts of sub-branches have come out from it. And as it's fallen on smaller, whippier trees. And just looking down in certain areas, you can see that when you cut a piece off, let's say a more substantial piece, the bits underneath are likely to whip up unexpectedly. There's always going to be surprises, so you have to take this extremely seriously. And there is a lot of contemplation, thought about what will happen if you cut a particular branch off. And in this section of our land, close to the perimeter, can't actually hear myself when I'm talking, there are other trees like this, you can see, that's already on the piss, and that is likely to fall. So that's going to have to come down at some point. But the tree is partially leaning up there against it, pushing it back this way. This one is a dead tree that actually there's very little, you see, there's very little holding this on. So again, working in this area to try and get to the branches of the oak, I need to clean out all the smaller stuff, which, you know, when it's just tiny little branches, I feel a bit more confident not to have to put on the proper gear. But now that I've aimed to start to tackle the main thing, obviously I've got the right gear on. However, having said all of that, my chainsaw probably isn't up to it. It's an electric chainsaw. It has a cable which has a trip hazard associated with it. And also you probably want to be as far away from certain things as you're chopping, just in case other branches and things fall down which are part of that tree, because it is a very what's the word I'm looking for? It can surprise you. Things can be unexpected. They can move in a way that you haven't anticipated. So there's this actually here is another tree, but there's part of the oak that's above me. So you kind of got to really clear out all the clutter so that you can get to the main thing. This isn't going to be a jolly afternoon's work. This is going to be pretty much an ongoing project over months, I think. And I need to invest in a better chainsaw to really tackle it. But where I can take the ancillary bits off, if I can get the helmet on and this thing, I will, just so we get a really good look at it. So we'll come back to this in future videos. Right.
Guess where we are again? Yes, the veg garden. I'm sitting next to our fava beans, horse beans, whatever you want to call them. I despair a little bit with these things. There are still rodent holes open in the veg garden. Mojo's not doing such a good job at putting these things off, but and they are disturbing the bed for the beans. I keep mounting them up to keep the base of the uppermost parts of the roots covered. But every night they're disturbed again. It's quite frustrating. Now, I don't wish any ill will on these things, of course. They live here, but I wish they'd move slightly away. Anyway, I might try putting some big stones over them at some point. What more can you do? But anyway, they're doing okay. There's a bit of rusty spots on them, which I need to go and look up. But we've got some beans growing, looking very good. Very interesting. So they look very much like the other broad beans that we had, but smaller. So that's interesting. But yes, this is an annoying thing, but you know, it's constant maintenance on the garden, isn't it? Absolutely constant maintenance. I've still got to go and do more weeding, constant weeding. But these, I try and keep them nicely mounted up, but they've never looked as nice and tidy as the celeries are looking. I'm very pleased with those. Still got more to put in the ground. Ah yes, people were asking in last episode why we have so many celery. It's not because we like them. It's lucky we like them because we've got a lot of them. But we were gifted a pot that had about 200 tiny little seedlings in there. We didn't know how many were in there. Thank you so much, Sandy, of the Wiltshire YouTube channel. There's many kind gifts he's given us of plants that he grew too many of. And it's been my personal challenge to try and keep as many of them alive as possible. The celery in particular. Well, all the others have not been so difficult because there weren't so many, but I think he originally did say take them all and do what you can with them, or pass the pot on to someone else who might be able to, but I didn't have anyone to pass them on to at that particular time. But anyway, I'm really pleased with them. I'd like to show you the carrots, but something else about last episode, or was it the episode before? I mentioned about needing a kneeling pad, which I'll suffer without. But some very lovely comments were saying, oh, you need this, that and the other. But a very lovely gentleman sent a very kind gift in the post. So we'll get to that a bit later. But first, I'd like to show you the carrots. Carrots, they're looking great. Now, we were advised by our lovely commenters that if you just remove a little bit of the soil around the base of the leaves, you can see the top of your carrot forming. Yep, got a number of good looking carrots coming up. So that's exciting. But I don't think they're quite ready yet. I don't know, I'll have to seek more advice on that. I can't wait to see what they all look like when we pull them out. Yay!
Different colours, aren't they, Julian?
Oh yes, because they're rainbow carrots. Well, they're rainbow seeds. So they're not, I can't quite tell. Some of them look orangey, some of them look just pale yellowy green. I can't see what I might think of as being any purple carrots in there yet, but I'm sure there must be some. Right. A very kind gesture indeed. So, versatile 3-in-1 garden kneeler with handles and handy tool bag. Free with claw gardening gloves as well. I haven't opened the box yet or tried to assemble it, so this is going to be interesting. But I'm sure this is the sort of thing. This is a lot more elaborate than what I had in mind initially when I said I needed something to kneel on. And I was by no way implying that anyone should buy me something, but I do really appreciate it. And this is the sort of thing that I think will become more and more useful and come into its own as time goes on. And this body of mine gets more knackered with the lifestyle I've chosen. I don't think there's much assembly needed. It's all together and it folds up. Well, that is smart, isn't it? Got the handy tool pouch. Very ergonomic. Smart as heck. Look at that. Oh, I like that. Looking forward to using that. I'll try that out a bit. in a minute. So you can lean on it that way. Handy things to lean on. Or have it that way up and you sit on it. I'd never seen this sort of thing before, and reading the comments and the description of what it might look like was quite interesting. But I see now exactly what you mean. Very handy. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Here are our potatoes, and we've had some interesting results with the potatoes. They used to go right up to the end here, but you can see this is now for more of our celery. The lovely Julia was talking about that. And we've also planted down this far end some turnips. So we're going to see if they come out. But that was our earlies. Our early bed was there, and our main crop really starts about here and runs there. And we've got, if I remember rightly, King Edward's and Maris Piper down the far end. We have been harvesting, if I come over here, some of our earlies, but we have had some really difficult issues with them. First, the weather has not been helpful, and with the weather came more watering. So one was watering the plants morning and night, not every morning, because it really depended on how cool it went into the night. There was still water down there. I believed that we needed to have them kept moist but not soaked. We're novices, so I don't know what I'm doing here. So that was one problem, and I would be watering them with the watering can slowly. There's 4 lines. You can't really see them, of course. We planted them far too close together. We didn't bank them up enough. We know that now. And we used a lot of grass cuttings to sort of bank them up. But as that rotted down, I suppose, it became more like one thick layer. But anyway, I would water both sides and in the middle every day. And now, when we started to harvest them, a few of them were great, fantastic. We were very hopeful. But what has happened is that there must be rodents in here, because the potatoes have got tooth marks, they've been dug up, they've been chewed in, and I assume, and I don't know this, but because it's so hot and there's so little water, the moisture in something perhaps that they wouldn't ordinarily eat, they have started to, perhaps they're just sucking on it to get the water. So, and I was putting the potatoes that we were rejected round the sides in the hope that they would eat those. Oh no, they would be digging up, and I can see them all across here. However, our main crop, which I've started to break into, even though I think it's August that you're supposed to, and although this is now the very beginning of August, is actually doing reasonably well, at least the few plants I've got. However, having said that, I have to sort of pull up about 3 or 4 plants at a time to get perhaps one decent meal's worth of potatoes. So I know there's a thing called potato blight, but I do feel, that's not the issue, but I feel blighted that the huge amount of sunshine, the attempt to keep them watered and fending off whatever is in the field and the wildlife has been tricky. Plus the fact we planted them all wrong. So next year we will do it differently, but we're learning. And of course all the tops, of which there is a copious amount, will go into the compost. So it's not all lost.
Well, this is the bough of the oak that Richard was talking about earlier. And it is a great shame that it's come down from this beautiful oak tree. But we're going to make the most of it. I think Richard's talked about the things that we're going to hopefully create from it. I just thought I'd explain why we call it Edie. Because in March, when I lost my lovely lovely little black cat called Emerald, full name Emerald Dream, we would sit over there and we would see the great image of this lovely oak. And it looked like there was a sleeping leopard in a bough above my head here. And thankfully that one's still up there, although it may come down eventually. But and it made me think of my little Emerald. So and this tree didn't have a name at the time, so I thought, well, what about Edie for Emerald Dream? Richard thought that was a good idea. So Edie. But yes, Edie, sorry you lost the bough, but we'll make the most of it, and it's a very treasured gift. Thank you very much.
There you go. Another week passes, another load of nonsense happens. But yes, it does make me a bit worried now because we've got a number of trees, haven't we?
We have.
And, oh, Cruella de Vil.
It reminds me of Catwoman.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, we have to be a bit careful when we come up, as we do, when we park the car, you know, parking it in the shade under an oak tree. You wouldn't want to come back and find it's flattened because a bough has come down.
No.
That would be a shame. Although I'd enjoy cutting you out like some, you know, knight in shining armour.
I'm sure. We don't have to worry too much with the oaks. I mean, from legend, the oaks don't do it very often, and when they do, you get lots of warning, lots of different creaks, cracks, and all that.
Yeah.
Unlike the elm, where I guess the elm has been suffering from elm disease for a few hundred years. I don't know, but from
The Dutch elm
folklore and
disease.
stuff like that. Yeah, the Dutch elm disease. But it's renowned for just randomly dropping a limb. You don't get any.
Don't get any warning.
No.
We don't have any elms here.
No.
And actually, there are very few elms in the country.
Left in the country, yeah.
Anyway, because they've all been dying thanks to the
Dutch elm
Dutch
disease.
people coming over, sawing the branches off. They're tiny little people with saws. It takes them a long while, and they go, and they wait for someone to be underneath without a hard hat on, and that's when it happens. So, you know, if you're Dutch, please don't be offended by this. We're talking double. Anyway, that's it. So I don't know if there's going to be a break in this weather, but we have got to get back to the watering and the nurturing and the caring. And when we've done that, we better look at the plants.
Yeah. I've also got to make some fake wasp nests.
Oh, yes. You had a tragedy, didn't you?
Tragedy is a bit of an overused word, but yes, I did have a very, very nasty experience yesterday.
Yes.
There I was, just trying to enjoy my cup of tea with my beloved and our friend after some work. And now normally I'm quite vigilant about looking in my cup before drinking, but this particular time I didn't look hard enough. I got stung in the mouth, right on this lip.
A wasp.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was at the front of my mouth, not the back. That could have been a wholly different experience, but...
We might have even panicked then. But as it was, we just said, oh, you got stung in it, or whatever, fat lip. Cheaper than Botox, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For, you know, a day or so. Yeah. But
Not interested in
a lot more painful. Anyway, you're all right now, aren't
Actually,
you?
it's probably less painful than... I don't know. I don't know.
Never
had
had it.
Botox,
No.
don't have any intention of
I
it,
haven't
thank
had
you.
that, apart from obviously on the top of my head. Covers my hair. Anyway, there you are. More nonsense. It's the sun, you see. We've been
It's
stroked.
affecting us.
We're going a bit mad.
Stroked.
So do tune in again next time when hopefully we'll have another exciting episode for you.
And a bit of water.
And yes, you may see us dancing semi-naked in the rain, should that happen. We will obviously blur out our faces. So there you go. Till next time, take care, and thanks for all your wonderful comments, your gifts, your kindness, your friendliness, and
Or
all
simply
of that.
following, commenting, all of it. Anything.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Now that's going to give me nightmares when I go to sleep. You and those. Ooh.
Schnick.
Shall we have separate rooms?